Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about 8 things that Rockstar will never do in the Grand Theft Auto series. So we know Rockstar is not afraid to push the envelope, but throughout the years, they've revealed in a handful of rare interviews from not only themselves, but Take-Two Interactive, their parent company, some of the things that they'll never do in GTA. We're going to be talking about 8 of those in this video today. So with the number 1 spot today, having kids or children in the game. And we just mentioned that Rockstar is not afraid to push the envelope on a lot of controversial subjects, but I think having children in Grand Theft Auto is one that they just want to stay away from. Like, imagine if you had the ability to do what you could do to every normal NPC in Grand Theft Auto, but it was a kid. I personally think that that would be a nightmare that Rockstar would just not want to deal with, and that's why we don't see any kids in the game. And even, characters that are technically kids, like Tracy DeSanta and Jimmy DeSanta, they're adults. Like, they're at a minimum 18 years old. So even though their role in the story is being the kids of Michael and Amanda, they're still technically adults just living at home. And you might also be wondering, well, what about the Bully franchise? That's all about kids going to school. Well, it's a completely different universe. I mean, think of all the things that are in Grand Theft Auto that are not in Bully. It's just a completely different world, so it's really hard to compare those two. So I don't think you'll see them going forward. There are a few exceptions where you will see like babies in cutscenes and small children in photographs, but as far as them like actually appearing in free roam, I think that's something we are just never going to see in Grand Theft Auto. The number 2 spot today, Rockstar releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 in the era of Donald Trump. And I'm literally not making that up. That is coming directly from Dan Houser, who is going to be leaving Rockstar Games soon. This is what he had to say in an interview on October 24th, 2018. The interview said Dan Houser is thankful he's not releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 in the age of Trump. In quotes, it's really unclear what we would even do, let alone how upset people would get with whatever we did. Both intense liberal progression and intense conservatism are both very militant and very angry. It is scary, but it's also strange, and yet both of them seem occasionally to veer towards the absurd. It's hard to satirize for those reasons. Some of the stuff you see is straightforwardly beyond satire. It would be out of date within 2 minutes. Everything is changing so fast. So there you have it, and that might be a little bit of satire in and of itself there, but if we were to take his words verbatim, he says he's not going to be releasing a Grand Theft Auto 6 game in the age of Donald Trump. And the way U.S. presidents work is they can be elected for 2 4-year terms. So if he happens to be reelected later this year in 2020, that means he would not be leaving office until 2024. So would GTA 6 have to come out after that? Or is Dan Houser just kind of being playful here and joking around? I'm hoping that's not the case because I really don't want to wait until 2024, potentially for another GTA title. The number 3 spot today, another hot coffee situation. So in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, I'll leave some helpful links in the description. In Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Rockstar had a hidden mod that included some, let's just say, adult content in their game. And they hid that in the files, but when the game came out on PC, players were able to access it and turn it into a mod. And when that happened, the US government, the FTC, they basically came down on Rockstar so hard with lawsuits, getting the game stripped of its M rating, which basically took it away from any retailer that would sell video games. So it was pretty bad times for Grand Theft Auto because of the hot coffee situation. And even though Rockstar, like I said, they push the envelope, they do a lot of stuff that deserves an M rating, I don't think we're ever going to see anything as blatant as the hot coffee mod was for GTA San Andreas. So there's just no way that they are going to end up ever doing that again. In fact, regarding that hot coffee situation, Dan Houser says, "I'm really lucky. I don't think it would have been possible if we didn't have each other. To survive in that situation without someone that you could trust, that would have been very difficult." At the number 4 spot today, Rockstar never working with big-time musicians. So we've talked about in the past why Rockstar won't bring in big-name actors. They said specifically because of their egos and because they get a better sense of immersion when using talented actors whose voices you don't recognize. But Rockstar has also had trouble with musicians in the past, specifically Public Enemy's Chuck D's on 2004's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and had to ask another director to step in. He says, "We have always had a good experience with pop stars, but we haven't used either significantly for a long time." And that's true. You'll find like some pop stars will be on like radio stations. We've seen that in the past with Cara Delevingne and a couple of others, but for the most part, they're right. They don't have like a big time musical celebrity in all of their games. The number 5 spot today, announcing when they're going to announce Grand Theft Auto 6. So probably the quote of the century comes from Strauss Zelnick back in 2009, who, regarding Grand Theft Auto 5 and how they hadn't given us any information about the next GTA game, he said, "We're not going to announce it. We're not going to announce when we're going to announce it, and we're not going to announce the strategy about announcing it, or about when we're going to announce it either, or about the announcement strategy surrounding the announcement of the strategy. Any other questions?" So the quote of the century, and the most confusing quote of the century regarding them announcing GTA. So I think for future GTA titles, they're not going to do the same thing either. They're just going to like change their Twitter profile picture one day, or they're going to just like tweet out a photo of a pink Rockstar logo or something like that. And then we'll know the next GTA is on the way. But don't expect an announcement from Take-Two or Rockstar anytime soon. The number 6 spot today, Rockstar working with controversial voice actors and motion capture artists. And the two I'm talking about today are Michael Hollick, who voiced and did the acting for Nico Bellic, and Young Melee, who did the acting work for CJ in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So you guys might remember that Michael Hollick, he basically, after Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, complained that he wasn't getting enough money or didn't get enough money for all the work he did and the amount of success that Grand Theft Auto 4 ultimately had. And he said that while he was thankful for Rockstar, he wishes he had gotten a little bit more out of it. Well, Rockstar responded when they were actually asked if Nico was going to be getting new dialogue in The Lost and the Damned, which is a DLC, and they literally responded, "Hell no!" exclamation point. So it's pretty clear that if you cross Rockstar, they're going to want nothing to do with you. And more recently, we saw Young Melee go on a huge Instagram rant about him working with Rockstar, how they didn't pay him enough. So I think it's pretty clear that we won't see either of those actors appear again in another Grand Theft Auto game. At the number 7 spot today, a story that's going to be over 100 hours long. So Strauss Zelnick said this in an interview back in 2019. He said, "I think entry barriers are going up, but I'm not sure anyone, including ourselves, believe that every big release has to have a massive team or more than 100 hours of gameplay." And if you're wondering just how long Red Dead Redemption 2's main story was, you can't put an exact number on it because everyone plays the game at a different pace, but I've seen that it's mostly between 40 to 60 hours to complete. And Red Dead Redemption 2's story was massive. So honestly, don't expect it to be any longer than that. A future GTA game, at least don't expect it to be like 2 times as long. You know, it could very easily be 60, 70 hours, but according to CEO Strauss Zelnick, it's not going to be 100 plus hours. And last but not least, at the number 8 spot today, abandon single player. So in an age where online, multiplayer, and free-to-play games look to be the new standard, at least for a lot of different genres, Strauss Zelnick says that will never happen to Grand Theft Auto games. He says single player, in my opinion, is not dead, not even close. Companies that feel like they just avoid the hard work of building a story and characters and go right to where the money is in multiplayer. I don't think that's going to work. I'd be surprised. And hopefully he's right, and I 1000% agree with him here. I feel like Rockstar should never abandon single player. That is what they do oh so well. I mean, their online modes are great, but their single player is just incredible. So hopefully that's something they never get rid of. But anyways, that right there is 8 things that Rockstar will never do in Grand Theft Auto. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think about the 8 things we discussed in this video today? Are you glad that Rockstar will never do these things? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.